Reddit question: what vastly improved your mental health? Sleep. If only I had realized this in my adolescence. People severely underestimate the tremendous impact that sleep has on your day, your productivity, and your mood. Undermining the importance of every single one of my thoughts. Most human thoughts are nonsense. I question every negative thought, and so far, all of them have turned out to be nonsense. No kidding, it's a turning point. Learning to love myself. A few years ago, my self-esteem was very low, and I wanted to be better. My therapist and I talked a lot about treating myself as if I were a friend. It sounds cheesy, but I started writing myself compliments on sticky notes in the morning and putting them on a mirror. It wasn't long before I started believing them. It's surprising how being kind to yourself and giving yourself grace can truly improve your mental health. When I stopped being in a hurry. Urgency is a response to trauma, and with the current culture focused on everything happening immediately, it's easy to get lost in the rush. Realizing that in most cases, I am not responsible for the feelings of others took a lot of guilt off my shoulders. Of course, this is not a license to be rude, it's simply knowing when you are involved in those feelings and when they have nothing to do with you. Muting my social media activity and replacing the time I spend there by reading books. I've finished 6 books since the beginning of January. I feel really good about myself because of that. Getting a cat. He sits with me. I'll rant and tell him all sorts of things, and he just sits there and says, "Go on. Get that off your chest, man." Life gets lonely, especially if you don't have family, a partner, or children. It makes life a little easier. Nature. People still overlook this simple thing, and many find it difficult to find nature where they live. I took a trip to the mountains and had never felt more relaxed in my life. Then I went near the water and instantly saw my mental health improve after living in the city for many years. I think when you realize there are so many living things around us, it makes you stop and think about how small we really are. Exercising every day, and outdoors for me whenever possible. I combined it with quitting drinking a couple of years ago and cutting out sugary nonsense, a great physical and mental improvement. Poor diet and sedentary lifestyles are incredibly destructive. Now that I'm 50, I look better than I did when I was 40, and there's no magic about how to do it. Practicing gratitude deliberately. I started thinking about 3 distinct things I was grateful for every night before falling asleep. I didn't even write them down, I just took 5 seconds to reflect on 3 things. Simply doing this every night for several months completely changed my mood. Improving the relationship with my wife has been the best thing I've done in my life. All that started a couple of years ago. We thought we were going to get divorced, we weren't communicating and had really grown apart. We have truly learned to value each other and invest in each other. We encourage and help each other all the time. That makes me feel pretty good these last few days. Psychedelics. Brains are like a snow-covered hill. Every thought is like a sled ride downhill, leaving tracks. As you have the same kinds of thoughts, certain grooves become deeper and deeper, and your brain develops thinking habits that are very difficult to break. Taking psychedelics can cover that hill with fresh snow. The result is a lot of introspection and new perspectives on your life, and in this way, it can be a very effective treatment for depression, anxiety, and other mental health problems. The best-known psychedelics are neither addictive nor do they generate addiction. Moreover, they can generate the opposite, helping people with other substances to overcome their addiction. Therapy was a game-changer for me. Finally having a safe space to vent my thoughts and emotions with a non-judgmental professional made a huge difference in my mental health. It's amazing how much better you can feel when you have someone supporting and guiding you through your struggles. Unpopular response, but my mental health improved after having a baby. No, not because motherhood made me happier, but because I have so much to do now and so much to show or teach my baby about life that for him to be the best version of himself, I have to be the best version of myself. I can relive life through my child's experiences, and as a mother, I have the opportunity to correct any mistakes that my own parents might have inflicted upon me. Honestly, drinking water and monitoring sugar intake. I used to drink only sodas or super sweet tea, but I stopped, and everything feels mentally clearer. I am more hydrated, and it's also an easy way to lose some weight. I highly recommend quitting soda for anyone to feel better mentally and physically. I didn't cut it out completely. I might have a vanilla Coke once a month as a treat, but that's all. I stopped socializing. I just do what I want with my time now instead of being bored to death with people and things I'm not interested in. I'm 47 and it took a long time to get here, years of being forced into activities that put me to sleep, forced conversations with people I have nothing in common with, pressure to attend events for which I didn't have the time, energy, or money. As I grew older, I realized that the activities I enjoy the most are solitary, reading, baking, sewing, art, gardening. I don't need other people to enjoy these things. They are a huge distraction and make my hobbies unpleasant. I know solitude doesn't work for many people. They say isolation is unhealthy, but I was much worse off mentally when I had people around. If you genuinely hate socializing, you might be a rare person like me who is happier without being bothered. I hope you find it easier if it's something you have to do. Finding someone to love me and marrying him. It's popular to say you have to love yourself before you can love someone else, but I don't think that's true. I had a neglected childhood. My parents didn't love me, and the experience of being truly and deeply loved by my husband was fundamental in helping me learn to love myself. Practicing random acts of kindness and being grateful for what I have and not focusing on what I don't have. Maintaining excellent relationships with my wife, family, friends, and colleagues. I stopped paying so much attention to the news and politics because it's not my job to solve all the world's problems, and getting angry about something you cannot control is useless. And perhaps above all, mindfulness. I no longer ruminate about the past, and I no longer hold grudges. I used to be a complaint collector, but I no longer think about the past. Don't think about the future. Just stay here now. Spending more time with my family and my cats. Realizing that some of my friends and groups were toxic and simply drained and depressed me. I left them. I also stopped worrying about what others would think of me and comparing myself to others. I also stopped watching certain content about my hobbies because it added unnecessary pressure to my life. Lowering the bar. Average is fine. I don't have to be above average in everything I do. There are things I want to be above average in. I want to enjoy time with my family and friends. I want less pressure. I've lowered the bar. Learning how everything worked over the years, mainly by reading, gave me a different perspective. In my humble opinion, the basics should be taught in school: neuroses of all kinds, what happens when your image of reality conflicts with what you are experiencing, what is psychosis, what is being bipolar, etc. By understanding that most people struggle, not everyone has the capacity to understand, let alone embrace and accept the differences of others. We live in a society where mass psychosis is rampant and accepted, which is fine, but we have to understand that it is happening. The fact that people tell you what to believe and teach you not to ask questions should give you a hint. We live in an age where most people are depressed and don't even know it. Not knowing that feeling sad is normal and has nothing to do with being depressed is something that needs to be taught. So definitely yes, there have been some studies that have been promoted because they should be taught in schools. For me, this is one of the basics, learning about the human psyche starting in high school, maybe even just 1 hour a week. Quitting my work-from-home job and getting a flexible, but mostly in-office, job. Thanks to the magic of having enough social activity in a day, I can now concentrate on my work for more than 1 or 2 hours a day, which leads to a more positive self-image. Then I went on to completely quit sodas, including sugar-free ones and energy drinks. I started drinking coffee occasionally to replace them. 2 weeks later, when the soda cravings subsided a lot, it felt like a success, which is always nice. Learning how to say no. There is nothing wrong with refusing something you don't want. I used to say yes to things so as not to hurt anyone's feelings and would end up with a lot of anxiety. It gets easier every time I do it. Putting myself first to protect my mental health has been life-changing. Plus, I never have to give explanations. Having a routine. It doesn't matter what my schedule is for the day, as long as I have the routine of getting up, getting dressed, and showering, I am in a good place. This is very important to me. Even if I don't feel like leaving the house, I have gotten dressed to the point where I wouldn't be embarrassed to open the door, and once you have that mindset, you clean up a bit. If I don't do it, I spend the whole day in bed. Leaving a toxic work environment or even simply having a negative coworker leave the company. My old boss constantly complained about everything and everyone. When he finally resigned, it felt as if the sun came out for the first time in 2 years. And thank you very much for watching the video, friends. Remember, you can comment on stories you have regarding this question and comment on which story impacted you the most. Remember to leave your like, subscribe, comment, and share the video so YouTube recommends it to more people.